Charity Lawson discusses her experience of having multiple lovers and if she has any regrets. The love story of Charity Lawson is being followed by Bachelor Nation viewers each week on The Bachelorette. The starlet is currently in for an exclusive interview with BachelorNation.com as she reflects on her season so far. See our whole exchange down below. Charity was questioned by Bachelor Nation. We appreciate you speaking with us, Charity. Has anything that you've seen thus far in your season particularly surprised you? Yes, Charity Lawson responded to Bachelor Nation. It should be quite clear that the entire Braden scenario shocked me. When I would sit down with Braden, he was open and honest about how he was feeling, but his tone was quite different from what it was to the other guys in the house. This has made it really tough to watch back. He seemed to be overshadowing the other guys at a certain point, in my opinion, since it all got to be too much. So seeing that back was incredibly difficult for me. I was also taken aback by how many strong emotions he felt regarding the procedure but chose not to express them to me. That makes a lot of sense. Charity was questioned by Bachelor Nation. It's obvious that you've grown to have really strong sentiments for a number of individuals. How did you strike a balance between these several close relationships? Response from Charity Lawson to Bachelor Nation. What a wonderful question. I wrote in my journal a lot. Because of how quickly this trip proceeds, it can be quite challenging to be in the present. I make a lot of effort to remain in the present. But there are still instances when it's challenging. So it was incredibly useful to be able to set out time for myself and write down my ideas. I was able to recall my impressions of each individual. I also received handwritten letters from several of my married pals from their homes. They shared their tips for finding the right spouse with me, including what to look for and how they knew. Additionally, having the impression that they were directing me was quite useful. In the end, I was able to manage it more easily with time, although it was difficult for me to balance my relationships until the very end. I had to embrace the notion that when you know in its entirety. There is no proper way to approach this, but I tried my hardest. Charity was questioned by Bachelor Nation on how well that seemed to handle everything. There is no right method, you're right. Is there anything you now regret not handling a little bit differently as you look back? Answer from Charity Lawson to Bachelor Nation. I feel like I handled certain things really kindly, perhaps a bit too kindly, but that's just how I am. I don't want to say sorry, but should I really have taken Braden's rose back? Absolutely. Although the entire Xavier talk was undoubtedly a moment of empowerment for me, I believe I was a bit too kind and nice throughout that exchange. Therefore, I don't believe I wish I had done anything differently. Perhaps I might have acted a little more vehemently to underline my point that part of what was stated is not acceptable at all. Occasionally, I regret how I handled situations like that, but generally, I had a wonderful experience and felt like I handled myself quite well. Charity was asked by Bachelor Nation. We concur. How have you dealt with internet fan criticism while the program has been airing? Answer from Charity Lawson to Bachelor Nation. In the beginning, I was much more interested and active in everything. I now set aside Monday evenings to interact with followers through humorous tweets and threads. I have a say in what activities I take part in and what I read or don't read. Except when they are a great area for me, I don't spend a lot of time on other people's articles or podcasts. Therefore, it is how I keep my peace with it. I generally simply participate on Twitter for fun because I enjoy making myself laugh. But as the Bachelorette, I've really had to underline those boundaries because my mental health will always come first. It hasn't always been simple, but it has helped that my followers have generally been quite devoted to and supportive of me.